Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is the Imaginator. I'm here today to bring you guys and ladies my One Piece Mind Charter 1045 review. The title of this One Piece Mind Charter is called Next Level. The page is a color page of the Straw Hats together, having a great time and being well educated as usual on these kind of pages. The beginning of the chapter is the resumption of what occurred in the last chapter, where we see, Gear 5th Luffy, Luffy in his Gear 5th form is kind of like relaxing as if he's in the beach. And due to him being in Gear 5th, using his awakening form, he's able to manipulate the environment, the very top material Onigashima, to be a bit more specific, turn into rubber, and he's using that as a trampoline, basically. They get higher ground. And then Kaido is kind of questioning, like he understands that Luffy's transferring his rubber powers into environments to make it rubber, but he's not apprehending as the transformation, because usually the transformation is only exclusive for his own type users, which he doesn't know that Luffy's is actually a Zoan type user, type of Pessimistia. Kaido then goes on the attack in his dragon form and trying to bite and eat Luffy, and Luffy is trying to get out of Kaido's body very aggressively as usual, and we see that Luffy uses his technique called Gun Gun Balloon, and Luffy's body expands within Kaido's body. That allows Kaido, a big portion of Kaido's body, to expand into that of a balloon like shape. And then Yamato, who's kind of shocked and being a witness of this intense battle, is saying to herself, "Hey, did Kaido get fatter?" And I think she was questioning Luffy in this part, where she was saying that did Luffy always had this kind of form. As Momonosuke and Yamato look in shock of what's been transpiring throughout this epic final showdown between Luffy and Kaido, Luffy actually sees Kaido's eye socket and sees it as light, and he uses his arms to stretch out from Kaido's eye socket, ungrabbing his nose, and then gets out of it. And then he uses another technique called Gum Gum Giant, which is basically a giant form of himself while in Gear 5th. And Luffy then follows up with another technique, what Gum called Gum Gum Jump Rope, and treating Kaido as if he was a jump rope. And as he was using Kaido as a jump rope, they're actually descending at high speeds. Kaido eventually got his grip off of Luffy, got Luffy's release of Luffy's grip, and Kaido uses Blast Breath, and it's successfully connected, landed on Luffy, and Luffy then has like a burnt black, like ash type of effect, which is kind of very loony, like a Looney Tune type style. Then after this, Luffy recovers, and then he's going like trying to rush really fast with his legs going, shaped as very fast wheels, kind of like what Sonic does. I guess that was kind of the influence there, reference. But for this, they're cool. Luffy then uses that to go very high speeds while in midair, and then Kaido in his hybrid form uses his Ragaku technique, successfully hits Luffy, and then Luffy, the impact of the technique was so powerful that it shattered the top portion of Onigashima, and Luffy's face went from the rooftop Onigashima to and was visible to the performance floor, and we see his eyes popping out and in giant form, and those who were witnessing it, their eyes also popped out too, to add more to the effect. I believe the four were Kid, Law, Nami, and Otama. After this, the side effects of Gear 5th kick in, and then Kaido tells Luffy, "You're at your limit," and then Luffy goes from Gear 5th and gradually reverts back to his normal form, and his skin is very like a zombie type of flimsy way of him, kind of like having no life anymore, basically. Kind of the opposite of what we see in Gear 5th, where he's full of life and beauty. Pretty much, and after that, Kaido tells Luffy, "Hey, if you die, at least you'll be remembered as one of the people that fought a great battle to defend Wano." And Luffy's like, "No, screw that. I'm going to beat you, and when you die, you're gonna be being left nothing with bone. You're gonna be left with just being bones. And then Luffy, self determination, demonstrates his self determination, not wanting to give up, as he tells that to Otama, Momo, and Kimimon about him still protecting and wanting to protect and save Wano. Well, basically, want to save Wano from uh, Kaido. And then the Gear Fifth, he goes back to Gear Fifth. We see the Congress of Haki oozing out of him, and then he swings around in a very like windmill type of fashion, and then Kaido is still kind of questioning, Luffy's Gear Fifth because he hasn't really figured out uh, this abnormal situation of Gear Fifth of what's been transpiring ever since their fight. And then Luffy, and he does say that Luffy is combining the Common Arms, which is Armor Haki, and Conqueror's Haki with his attacks. And then it successfully hits Kaido, like right through from the face, and we with like kind of like a rubbery form as well, where Luffy punches Kaido's face, and we see Luffy's fist within Kaido's face or skin, just like pulling out as if it was rubber. And then Luffy finally comments and say, this is fun, isn't it, Kaido? And that's the end of the chapter. All right, so my review of this chapter, I thought it was fabulous. I love the nonstop action between Luffy, the fight action between Luffy and Kaido. I like the color page too. I like that it's like very and well animated. The Straw Hats are animated and having a lot of life in them, and enjoying the things that they're doing within the color pages that release from time to time in certain chapters. It keeps the reader much more engaged into reading the One Piece manga from my perspective. And yeah, and I just like how Yamato and Momonosuke, they're just kind of like bewildered and too shocked. Like they don't understand what's going on. They're questioning a lot of things, and they're just in it for the ride, basically, and really trying to, and hopefully, and room for Luffy, of course, but still kind of shocked, constant shock of all the bizarre things that's been transpiring throughout the battle. The historical part where the eyes, came out with Luffy's face was in the performance floor, and we see like Nami, Otama, Law, and Kid, their eyes are popping out too. So I like the combination of the Looney Tune effect and the intensity. It's like a nice blend. It's serious. It's still serious, but there's still comical relief that's kind of overlapping the intensity of the fight of Luffy and Kaido, what's really at stake. So I like that there's like a little unique situation there of humor. And Kaido's still trying to figure out Luffy's ability. So he's still kind of scratching his head, but still not letting that get the better of him and distract him with, not allowing that to distract him from fighting appropriately. He's still fighting properly and still focused. Still, while still not understanding Luffy's ability overall. And that Luffy punch at the end was kind of crazy, And I think everything Luffy makes a contact with turns into rubber too. So I feel like Luffy, when he punches Kaido in the face, that the punch that Luffy lands on that part of Kaido turns rubber. So I like that kind of effect too. It's pretty awesome. Yes, so that is it. My One Piece Manga Chapter 1005 review. My One Piece Manga Chapter 1045 review. Hope y'all enjoy. Please like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to my channel Imagine for more manga reviews, anime discussions, and many more. With all that being said, fellow YouTubers, y'all all have a wonderful day.